Hi, this is Bonnie and I'm recording from the studio at Alderlore Insight Center. I just wanted to give you a little sense of some of the difference that Alderlore can make and invite you to our 8-week summer soul program through a series of short video takes. And today I want to talk about something that Alderlore has developed over the years, and that is this notion of working directly with view. And so one of the ways that I like to demonstrate that for people is I have this kind of reproduction of Ptolemy's model of the planetary system. And as most of you probably know, during Ptolemy's time, there was a very big challenge about explaining the movements of the planets. And it was complicated by the fact that they were thinking of the Earth as the center of the planetary system. And then they had these complex orbits of the planets to describe the way the planets moved in the night sky. And to make matters more complicated, they had to have a model that explained the apparent retrograde or backwards movements of the planets with respect to the Earth and the observations that they were making. So Ptolemy came up with a model of the orbits, which are quite complex, and this notion of epicycles, which he envisioned each of the planets that distributed retrograde would go around in their orbit, but also had these periodic epicycles so that they would apparently move backwards in the night sky. And so we all know today that Copernicus comes and he says, well, that's all very good. It certainly explains retrograde, but it's much too complex. If we think of the orbital system revolving around the sun, then we have a much more elegant model. And so not only is the model more elegant, but it has the capacity to explain everything that Ptolemy explained and much more explanatory power. So this is what we use as an analogy to talk about the shift in view, the view from an Earth-centric planetary system to a heliocentric solar system makes a huge difference in the history of science and our understanding. So we take this as an analogy and we use it to develop insight training in people. And what we use it for as an analogy is we talk about that we are all inside our own complex lives. And especially young people today are facing a very complex future, a lot of radical change, an acceleration of deinstitutionalization, decentralization, the deconstruction of all the knowledge systems. So this is very complex. And there's a lot of suggestions and opinions out there that for me I like Ptolemy's approach, just making everything more and more and more complex. And so at Alderlore, we've developed principles and practices. So when we have situations that are complex that way, we learn to situate ourselves inside our view, to identify, we call it constellating, just like the solar system, constellate all the nodes, all the features that are making the complexity, and be able to identify where we're sitting, where we're looking from, and work directly with that. That's called our view, to work directly with our view, and then shift that. And once that view shifts, just like from Ptolemy's Earth-centric to Copernicus' heliocentric view, once the shift from where you're at, once the view from where you're at shifts, then the whole constellation falls into place and you can see clearly where you need to be. You can see clearly what the next steps are. You can see clearly, there's a clarity of purpose, an alignment with passion. your energies aligned, and the future really starts to come into shape in a very concrete way. So for our summer program, this summer, at the 8-week program, this is the core feature of our practice, is to take what you bring to the conversation, what's important to you, what are your critical and significant questions, and collectively work that into this practice of working directly with the view that you're currently holding, all the complexity of that view, and shift it into something that's much more elegant and beautiful and manageable and workable and inspirational, and to get that insight to shift your view. So that's a big difference that Alderlore Insight Center can make in your life. It's a practice we've been developing with groups and individuals, and it's very, very powerful. So I hope to see you here this summer.